The average commercial aircraft cruises at an altitude between 30,000 and 40,000 feet. For many people, falling from this height sounds like an inevitable death sentence. After all, anyone who is sitting on a plane isn't going to be equipped with a parachute to break their fall. There have been instances, however, where people have survived this situation and lived to tell the tale. Despite the odds, there are some variables which can increase your chances of survival if you ever find yourself falling from a plane, vulnerable and without a parachute. We create content for curious minds and inquisitive souls, so please subscribe to this channel if you love acquiring knowledge and learning. When falling from a plane, it is crucial to understand just how much time you have. It is estimated that when you're free falling from a height of 30,000 feet, it will take you just under 3 minutes to make contact with the ground. Surprisingly, having this amount of time will actually work in your favor. If you were to fall from the window of a high-rise building at 100 feet, for example, you would make contact with the ground in less than 3 seconds. Obviously, that leaves you with virtually no time to react. In 3 minutes, however, a lot can be done. Of course, it is important to keep in mind that you will probably be unconscious for the first 30 seconds of your fall. The reason for this is because at that altitude, oxygen levels are extremely low, and you will be falling for at least 5,000 feet until you wake up again. Granted, there is not a huge amount you can actually do at this point, which is why most people don't survive such a fall. Still, there are several mitigating factors which could potentially mean that you emerge from this ordeal alive. It has actually happened as well, with one particularly noticeable example being that of Serbian flight attendant Vesna Volovic. In 1972, she fell from more than 30,000 feet, and although she was seriously injured, she survived. During her fall, she was trapped between her seat, a trolley, a part of the aircraft, and a body, and it is believed that this cushioning was what protected her from the crushing force of the impact. Regardless of whether you're encased in a section of the wreckage or are falling unprotected, however, at one point you will achieve terminal velocity. Gravitational forces will pull you faster and faster towards the Earth, but at the same time, the friction between the atmosphere and your mass will be pulling you upwards. When the gravitational force and air resistance match each other, you will start to move at a steady speed in a constant direction. This is terminal velocity, and you will no longer be accelerating. Around 1,500 feet into your fall, you will reach terminal velocity, and from then you will be falling at 120 miles per hour until you make contact. In order to be aware of this, you'll have to wait until you reach 25,000 feet so that you can regain consciousness. At this altitude, the air has enough oxygen to be breathable, so you will have the opportunity to process everything that is happening and realize that you have 2 minutes until impact. As cliché as it may sound, remaining calm and not panicking is your priority so that you can focus on landing. Whilst you can somewhat control how you land, you can't really control what you land on. That will depend on chance. In order to survive, you will have to fall on a surface which will give and essentially absorb most of the force of the impact, so that you don't have to. Examples of such surfaces would include grass, bushes, and haystacks, with thick drifts of snow and plant-covered swamps being ideal. There's even one story of a skydiver bouncing off high-tension wires and surviving when their parachute failed. You may notice that we haven't mentioned water, and this is because it is one of the worst choices out there. There is practically no difference when it comes to colliding with the ocean and a concrete pavement, because neither will give. Of course, if you happen to be in this unfortunate situation, then you have no way of knowing what lies beneath you. You just have to do whatever you can and hope that whatever is down below is at least slightly forgiving. Once you have decided that you want to live, you have to assume the right position. First and foremost, you want to slow your descent by spread-eagling your arms and legs, facing your chest to the ground, and arching your head and back upwards. This isn't your landing pose, by the way. It's just to give you some more time. Keep this pose for as long as you can, and when you feel you are close to making contact with the ground, you can assume either one of 2 positions. You can decide to go feet first in a knife-like position, or lock your hands together and stretch your arms outwards so that you can break the force with your arms. Whatever you do, you have to make sure that you don't land on your head. If you do survive the fall, then help should hopefully be on the way if you're in a populated area. If you are somewhere more remote, then the story of Julian Kupka, who fell more than 10,000 feet from a plane and then had to survive in the jungle for 10 days, is an inspirational tale of survival for you. Considering just how unlikely such a scenario is, this exploration will be little more than a thought experiment for the vast majority of people. The chances of a plane crash are incredibly small, so you'll probably never have to use this information. We hope that you found this as interesting as we did, and if that's the case, then please like, share and subscribe to this channel for even more stimulating discussions.